Today I'm going to walk you through 4 strategies that you can use regardless of your level to start winning more points immediately. These tactics are very simple to use but very difficult for your opponent. The first one is to start throwing in fast long serves. You want to get your opponent used to your backspin serves short. And then on the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th ball, when they're used to stepping in to receive, you want to send them long. Either to the forehand corner, their crossover point between the forehand and the backhand in this area, or their backhand corner. And what you want to focus on is getting these serves fast and deep on the table. This is what rushes your opponents and forces them to make mistakes. They're likely going to end up hitting off the end of the table or straight into the net. But don't forget guys, don't do this over and over and over again. Because if your opponent does get used to it, if it's not contrasted with the backspin serves, then these serves are very easy to hit. If you know they're coming, they're a free shot. This is why it's so important to throw them in. Don't make them your mainstay. And remember, opponents usually expect topspin on these serves. So if you can add a bit of backspin and even some side spin, that is going to help you as well. The second simple strategy is to target the crossover point. While you're serving or during the rally, you want to aim for this area where your hip is, your right hip or the left hip if you're facing a left-hander. This is the point of uncertainty. The player must decide whether they're going to play a forehand or play a backhand. And what usually ends up happening is that the player plays a cramped forehand or a reaching backhand. At a beginner, amateur, intermediate level, the footwork isn't usually fast enough to pivot around when you aim to the opponent's body. This is a phenomenal strategy to force awkward returns. Now before we get into the third simple way to win more points, I'd just like to mention that if you want a free daily strategy or tactic to help you improve your table tennis and win more games as fast as possible, check out the top link in the description. That's my blog where I send out a very simple 1 to 2 minute passage which walks you through a simple strategy that you can use in your very next match and start winning at least a couple extra points. If you're interested, again, that's the top link in the description. Alright guys, so this strategy is about loading up your topspin. Often when you try to hit fast, sometimes your shots can get flat. They're very fast, but they're low over the net and you're prone to making mistakes. What this strategy involves is looping with heavy topspin against the backspin and a very high arc. If they try to block, the ball often flies way over the end of the table. For most club level players, there is a lot of difficulty in getting over the ball with soft hands. So this is something that you want to exploit. The cool thing is you don't need pro level power or weight transfer. You just need to lift off your back leg, create the heavy topspin against the backspin. A spinny high arc loop is often safer than a flat hit as well. Now the last simple strategy to implement is to attack down the line. Amateur players usually expect the balls to come back cross court. This is what feels natural for them to do, and this is what they expect back from their opponents. Hitting parallel with these lines going down the line disrupts their anticipation. So try this. When your opponent hits to your forehand, take a step back with your right foot and aim down the line to their backhand. One of the reasons why it's so effective is because there's a shorter travel time going down the line. Cross court, the ball is going a longer distance. Down the line, it's much more direct and to the point. It also targets the typically weaker backhand side. A lot of players love to play their forehand, that's their strongest shot. And plus, they're already anticipating the cross-court shot. If it comes into their backhand, they have to hurry. But do not forget that when you're aiming down the line, especially with your forehand, it's going to be very difficult for you to play like this. So that is why you need to bring your right foot slightly back, and that's going to make it much easier to go down the line. That is it from me guys. Make sure to join the blog and start leveling up your tactics.